Coach Prime has amassed a ton of talent in Colorado, and we know that we may see something very, very special in 2024. But some of you guys have asked specifically about where this talent is coming from, and we're going to talk about this in a few different videos. But today we're going to start with the great state where both Coach Prime and myself are from. That's Florida. Let's look at the guys from Florida on this roster that are certainly going to be vying to make a difference for Coach Prime. Now, this first one's a little bit cheating, and we're going to do it anyway, but again, it's just so that we can get this kid's name in here one more time. Jordan Seaton, offensive tackle, 6'5", 287 out of IMG Academy, which is in Bradenton, Florida. But again, it's cheating just a little bit because he relocated there to go to school for the last year or so. 247 composite 5-star. He's ranked 17th nationally. He's a top-ranked offensive tackle in the country for the 24 signing class. He's the 4th ranked recruit in Florida for the class of 2024. He had offers from Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Ohio State, and others. Performed in the Under Armour All-American game. He is a first-round projection from Andrew Ivins, and the closest comparison is Elijah Vera Tucker of the New York Jets. He played at the left tackle position at IMG. He's rated for his quickness, his agility. Someone his size and natural athletic gifts is really ridiculous to see. Next up, Cormani McClain, cornerback, 6'2", 165 pounds out of Lakeland High School in Lakeland, Florida. Played in 9 games, recorded 13 tackles last year, started 4 games in 2023 for the Buffs. He had 6 unassisted, 1 tackle for loss. He broke up a couple of passes and certainly had a resurgence. Had a little bit of a tough start. Coach Prime kind of got into him a little bit, and he certainly turned things around to have a really good back half of the year. You'd think that Cormani and Travis Hunter will really lock down those cornerback positions, and Cormani could do really, really special things. A former 5-star recruit, a kid who has a ton of talent, just has to put it all together this year, and I expect that he will have a great chance to do that. Omarion Coopers, cornerback, a 6-foot, 190-pound kid out of Lehigh Senior High School out of Lehigh Acres, Florida. He transferred from Florida State, played in 9 games in 2023, started 8 of them. He did miss the final 3 games of the season, but he had 37 tackles, 32 of them solo tackles, which was the highest on the team among cornerbacks. 2 tackles for loss. He had a sack. He had a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, 5 pass breakups. He was tied for most on the team there with Travis Hunter, a kid who can certainly help a ton, again, with that cornerback rotation. Really led the way for the Buffs last year outside of Hunter. I think he can have a really big year in 2024 as well. Travis J is a cornerback, 6'2", 205. You're noticing a little bit of a trend here as we've gotten into some defensive backs. Out of Madison County High School, Greenville, Florida, another transfer from Florida State University. He was rated a 3-star prospect in the transfer portal by the 247 class of 2023, which rates him at 8.8700, ranked as the number 552 overall player in the portal and number 42 overall at safety is where they had him rated. But playing a little bit more defensive back, a little more corner in this Buff system. This is a year that he needs to make a step. He needs to make a jump. You've got a lot of talent there in the defensive secondary. A lot is expected playing in that secondary under Coach Prime. You need to make a jump this year. Travis J is a kid who I look to see what kind of spring he has that may propel him into a really good 2024 regular season. Here's one that nobody is going to be more excited about than you guys. Jimmy Horn Jr. You guys talked about him all year last year in the offseason. Really, really good player for the Buffs this year, but was really good for USF before that. He's a 5'10", 170-pound wide receiver at a Seminole High School in Sanford, Florida. One of 2 Buffs to play and start every single game during the 2023 season. He had 58 receptions, 567 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. He was 2nd on the team in receptions. He was 3rd in yardage, and he led Colorado in touchdowns receiving. Tavares Dawson, a wide receiver who's 5'10", 165 pounds. Again, Lehigh High School, Lehigh Acres, Florida, transferring in from Auburn. He played in 7 games in 2023, starting in 4. He had 14 receptions, 124 yards, and 1 touchdown to go along with 1 carry for 8 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. Another kid who hasn't put in a ton of production, but you'd like to see him take that big step in 2024. Absolute burner. He's got speed. You'd like to see what this kid can bring you in this upcoming year. Isaiah Harge, defensive back, 5'10", 160 pounds, St. Thomas Aquinas in Hollywood, Florida. He played in 3 games in 2023, used his red shirt, appeared in the first 3 games of the season exclusively on special teams, then did not play anymore to save that red shirt. What has he accomplished? Where has Colorado's strength and conditioning program gotten him? He's converted from wide receiver to defensive back. What does his 2024 look like? Again, you're looking at some of the depth now. You're looking at some of the kids who maybe fill out the roster, but can they jump in to that starting role? Not a starting role, but a rotational role and get a lot of playing time for the Buffs this year. Asad Wasim, he's a wide receiver that's 5'11", 175 pounds from Ocoee High School in Apopka, Florida. He had 1 kickoff return for 9 yards against Utah in the final game of the season. He appeared in those final 2 games of the season. Brendan Gant is an inside linebacker, 6'2", 200 pounds, Kathleen High School out of Lakeland, Florida. They're a power. Transferred in from Florida State. He played in 4 games in 2023. He had 5 total tackles, including 4 unassisted. You'd like to see that linebacker room take another step forward. We talked about some of the guys they've added there. Can Brendan Gant be part of that? Another linebacker, Jeremiah Brown, inside linebacker, 6'2", 225, out of Gadsden County. Transferred from Jackson State. He played in all 12 games in 2023. He had 11 tackles, 7 unassisted, and 1 pass breakup. Came along with Coach Prime, obviously, when he came over last year. J.J. Hawkins, a defensive end at 6'2", 260 pounds out of Discovery High School. That's Miami, Florida. He's transferring in from Ole Miss. He played in all 10 games there, recorded 5 total tackles. You'd like to see him be able to mix it up. Big body, big frame, good size for a defensive lineman. Can he take a big step here in 2024? Noah Young, another linebacker, inside linebacker, 6'1", 220 pounds, Gulf Breeze High School out of Gulf Breeze, Florida. He transferred in from Iowa, Western, Utah State, and Tennessee. He's been all over the place. He played in 2 games in 2023, started in 1. He received the D designation on his chest in the final game of the season, which stands for dog. They use that instead of captain where he was recently. Kareem Harden, he's an offensive tackle, big kid, 6'5", 315 pounds, Stranahan High School out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's transferring from Butler Community College. He played in 11 games. He started in 4, played 326 snaps, only allowed 4 sacks on the season in 4 hurries in 11 games. We've talked about how the Buffs need to revamp that offensive line. He is certainly a large piece that may help them do that. Shimon Mateer, tight end, 6'5", 245 pounds, from North Miami High School in North Miami, Florida. He transferred in from Cincinnati. 247 Sports lists him as a transfer ranking of 9,000 as the number 75 ranked overall and the number 5 ranked overall tight end in the transfer portal class as of December 20th, 2023. He played in 17 games over 3 seasons for Cincinnati. He had 24 receptions and 5 touchdowns, just under 300 yards. Really like to see a tight end get a little bit more involved. So much playmaking ability out there at wide receiver and the running back position as well. Big body tight end certainly is not something that I will be upset with seeing him have some success. Jalen Wester, inside linebacker. He's a 6 foot, 200-pound kid out of Palmetto High School in Palmetto, Florida. He transfers in from FAU, Florida Atlantic University. Played in 11 games in 2023, started in 5. He finished the season with 55 tackles, 32 unassisted, 7.5 tackles for loss. He had a sack, a forced fumble, a quarterback hurry, 2 pass breakups. He earned 4th team All-AAC honors by Phil Stills Magazine as a nickelback. And then one more from FAU, LaJonte Wester, a wide receiver, 5'11", 167 pounds from Palmetto High School, Palmetto, Florida, transferred again from Florida Atlantic University. 247 Sports lists him with a transfer rating of 8,900, the number 192 player in the portal overall, number 35 wide receiver. During his time at FAU, he played in 45 games, had 252 catches, 2,700 yards, and 21 touchdowns. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 punt return touchdown as well. Can absolutely do it all. First team wide receiver and 3rd team punt returner by All-ACC by Phil Steele's Magazine. Also had the 3rd team punt returner and 4th team honors by Athlon Magazine. He was the American Athletic Conference Special Teams Player of the Year, and he had 1st team honors at both wide receiver and special teams. Kid can absolutely fly. He is a phenomenal athlete. He finished 7th in the country in receiving yards, and he is somebody who can absolutely come in day one and make an impact for the Buffs. We told you when Wester committed, when he signed, he was going to be a problem for a lot of other teams, and we certainly still believe that. There you have it. The guys from Florida on this roster. We're not anywhere near done with this. We're going to do this for Texas, maybe another state or two that you guys have asked about, some areas. Hey, if you're from the state of Florida, you better put on for these guys. Let us know down in the comments. Let us know what state you want to see us do next. We're going to run through some of these guys and what we think they may be able to contribute, what they've done in their past, what they've done for the Buffs, other teams. I appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in. Something different today. Hopefully you liked it. If not, let us know down in the comments. We'll change things up and try to keep it relevant for you guys. Several people asked us for this, and so here we are doing it. Appreciate you guys, as always, for watching the prime time for college football.